Hello, my name is Rob and welcome to Metal Monthly, your one-stop shop for everything that's been going on in metal music for the last month. In this series we talk about album releases, interesting facts, fun stories, musician deaths, anything interesting and worthy of note going on in metal for the last month. We talk about it, it's interesting, I get really excited and talk really fast. Let's get on with it. First up, as always, it's album releases. As usual, we are going to be talking about the ones I am most interested in or the biggest albums that have been released. First up, Corey Taylor, CMFT. This debut solo album from Corey Taylor has been dividing the opinions of metalheads like any debut solo album from a singer of a successful metal band, because metalheads just like to argue about stuff. But I'm just going to say it, I really liked this album. I really liked the mix of metal and Americana and rock and blues. It was good. No, it didn't sound anything like Slipknot or Stone Sour, but that's not what he was going for. He was going for something entirely different. If you want to listen to music that sounds like those bands have huge discographies you can listen to. Next up, Bring Me the Horizon Post-Human Survival Horror. This album is metalcore, obviously, but it's mixed with a bunch of other genres. There's thrash, there's nu metal in there, there's a bit of EDM, and metalcore I think works best when it is mixed with a bunch of other genres. As long as there is one core sound for the album, then every different song can have a slightly different variation, and I really like that because otherwise metalcore can sound a bit samey and boring. And this album works really well, and as someone who isn't a Bring Me the Horizon fan, this album might have actually changed my mind. This is a really good album. Next up, Devil Driver, Dealing with Demons. That is a lot of alliteration. The first of this two-part album came out, and yeah, it's really good. It's heavy, it's got good riffs, it's got good lyrics, and the song Keep Away From Me should absolutely be the theme song to coronavirus times. And lastly, Necrophobic, Dawn of the Damned. I'll admit I only listened to this album because of its name, but apparently this band has been going since 1989, and this is their 9th studio album. So, well done me for keeping up to date with music. This is a blackened death metal band, which I'm not usually into, but I really dug this album for some reason. It was fast and there was a cacophony of drum noises, but there were also some really good riffs for me to cling on to and just stuck to through the entire album. This album was far more accessible than I was expecting it to be, and I would definitely recommend it. It's really hot. Okay, next up, musician deaths. Every month I think it's just right to honour the metal musicians who have passed away over the last month. And this month there was one death. I think you kind of know what's coming. On October the 6th, Edward Lodewijk Van Halen, co-creator, lead guitarist and songwriter of the rock group Van Halen, passed away at 65. And considering his legacy, I am blown away at how young he was. For context, he started Van Halen when he was just 17. Van Halen's album 1984, which did come out in 1984, went 5 times platinum in its first year. Their song Jump became a #1 pop hit and even won them a Grammy nomination. And in 2007, Van Halen was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The passing of Eddie Van Halen is a sad loss to the entire music industry, and I am sure he will be mourned by a lot of people. We're actually not done talking about him in this video. The fun story part of this video later on is also going to be regarding Eddie Van Halen, so stay tuned for that. Next up, Music Festival Explorer. If you didn't know, this is my website and it's great. Over the past month I have written blogs about the best and worst additions to Download Festival over the years, and a look at the mosh pit and how it has evolved over time. So check that out, link in the description. Oh man, it is really hot in here today. Excuse me 1 second. I know this is unprofessional, but oh, that's better. Anyway, where were we? Some fun facts, some fun little stories that have happened over the past month. First off, Miley Cyrus is working on a Metallica covers album. And I am really excited for this. Ever since I saw her in that Black Mirror episode doing covers of Nine Inch Nails songs, yeah, I've been excited for her to do more rock and metal stuff. And the other interesting thing, and I think some of you may be seeing where I'm going with this, Download Festival has announced an extra 17 new bands for Download Festival 2021. Normally I would make an entire video about this, but I figured, man, I'll just put it in with this video because it is a thing that happened in metal music last month. So the 17 extra bands that have now been added to the 2021 lineup are Renounced, Dead Poet Society, Uncured, The Ingester, Venom Prison, Fire from the Gods, The Scratch, Aaron Jones, North Lane, Monster Truck, Massive Wagons, Static Dress, Salem, Boston Manor, The Skints, Megadeth, and shockingly, The Descendants, my absolute favourite band of all time, are playing Download Festival. I am so excited for this. I actually made a video last year of bands that will never play Download Festival, and I put The Descendants on there, so I have been proven wrong, and I am so happy about that. The Descendants are headlining the Avalanche stage on the Sunday. If Download Festival now doesn't happen next year, I will riot. So everybody, wear a mask, wash your hands, stay away from people. I need to be seeing The Descendants at Download Festival. Just saying. And now, finally, for this month's fun story, which, as I say, is about Eddie Van Halen. Okay, so this isn't exactly a fun story, but it's heartwarming, and I feel like we all need a heartwarming story sometimes, especially at the minute. In 2004, Dimebag Darrell, guitarist for Pantera, was shot and killed on stage while performing. Now, Darrell was a huge Van Halen fan, and reportedly his last ever words were Van Halen, that's how big a fan he was. Well, according to his brother Vinny, that's what they used to say to each other before a show to kind of energise each other and as a way of saying, let's play a really good gig. Now, Van Halen knew that Darrell was a big fan of his, and so at his funeral he stepped up and he put his mobile phone up against the microphone and played a voicemail that Darrell had sent him a few days beforehand. It said, "Thank you so much, man, for the most awesome, uplifting, euphoric, spiritual rock and roll extravaganza ever." Van Halen also decided that Darrell should be buried with his yellow and black guitar, which he knew that Darrell coveted. Van Halen and Darrell had only just met the first time a few weeks ago, and Darrell, so in love with this guitar, was immediately prepared to offer him $30,000 for that guitar. However, Van Halen said, "Don't worry about it, I will make you a custom version of this guitar, an exact replica, and you can have it for free." Which already, lovely thing to do. However, then Darrell was killed and Van Halen decided that he should be buried with the original guitar. He said, "Dime was an original and only an original deserves to be buried with the original." Because Van Halen was a lovely, lovely man. Isn't that just a really nice story? Anyway, that's everything I have for you this time. Thank you so much for watching. Which band that Downloaders announced are you most excited for? Is it The Descendants like me? If you've listened to any of the albums I mentioned earlier, please do let me know in the comments what you thought of them. My name is Rob and I will see you next month.